welcome to the show. The big news of the week was obviously this.
Warnings from petrol retailers that many forecourts no longer have fuel as a result of days of queues at the pumps.
The government's told drivers not to panic.
People have been told not to panic.
There is no need to panic. Don't panic.
Don't panic.
So what happened? We panicked. People went crazy, filling up cars, bottles, dressing their kids as Volvos, sticking the pump up their arse. Dave, do not like that match. And the people who couldn't get fuel, slightly agitated.
Mate, there's no fuel anywhere.
If I don't get petrol, I don't get no food.
I've been here ages, mate.
One lady didn't even know why she was there.
I'm only queuing because everybody else is queuing, is he honest?
I'm just here for the fun of it, to be honest. I thought it was a roller coaster, I did.
This guy, without doubt, definitely my favourite.
Right, this is a message for the British government or fucking whoever's in charge of the fuel. What's going on in Tesco's? They've even got a fucking traffic warden down here telling you which fucking lane to go in. Just seen some woman filling up a 2-litre bottle of Lucozade with petrol. How far's that going to fucking get you? The fucking cops over there, I'll tell them now, you bloody jam sponge, I'm bloody fuming.
I love it. He's speaking to the government on TikTok. Oi, Boris, what's going on in the Tesco in Abergavenny, man? They put diesel in the Lucozade. Mate, I gotta be honest with you, it tastes all right. I could watch him for hours. It's what he calls the guy at the end I love.
The fucking cops over there, I'll tell them now, you bloody jam sponge, I'm bloody fuming.
Who uses a pudding as an insult? Where's my petrol, you bloody apple crumble? Still, one thing you can guarantee, when there's a crisis in this country, people pull together. What a bunch of sticky toffee puddings. What is wrong with us, man? A year ago, we were clapping for carers. Now we're punching for petrol. Besides, you don't have to fight. If you don't like panic buyers, just do this.
Absolutely crazy, busy. Really busy here today.
What you do? Give us that. Now, talking of piss-taking, look at the name of the reporter the BBC sent to a garage.
Panic buying very much discouraged, but of course it hasn't made a difference to places like this.
Phil McCann. Who would they send if they ran out of shampoo? Tim O'Tay? Like, Tim, we need to interview Prince Andrew. Anyone here called Dirty Old Fucker? Come on, dirty old fucker. So why are we in this petrol predicament? Well, the Transport Minister, Grant Shapps, has blamed everyone. He blamed COVID, he blamed the public, and he blamed the Road Haulage Association, which is all misdirection. The reason we're in this mess, we don't have enough lorry drivers to deliver the petrol. And a major reason for that nobody in the government is mentioning is Brexit.
In the aftermath of Brexit, thousands of foreign drivers left the UK since they could no longer work visa-free. And now ordinary Britons are feeling the effects of that.
It's almost like immigration was keeping the country afloat. Bloody foreigners not coming here and not taking our jobs. I mean, Christ, have you seen what we've had to do?
The army has been put on standby to help ease pressure on petrol stations after days of long queues and pump closures.
Poor sods. That's not why you joined the army, is it? Imagine those war films. From the makers of Dunkirk comes, "Oi, Darren, put the nozzle down." It gets crazier. Look what the Prime Minister's going to do. Boris Johnson is to personally sign off on 1 million morale-boosting letters urging drivers who turned away from the industry to get back on Britain's roads. Morale-boosting letters. Come on, you can do it. The roads aren't the same since you left. Oh, Terry, the indicating, the pulling out, the horn honking. You were the best, Terry. Anyway, I gotta go. There's a BBC journalist here to interview me called Massive Twat. Bye! He hasn't just been writing letters. He went to the UN to try to solve climate change.
The Prime Minister has urged world leaders to take radical and urgent action to tackle climate change.
Great! And how did he convey this vitally important message?
When Kermit the Frog sang, "It's not easy being green." You remember that one? I want you to know that he was wrong.
What are you talking about? You're addressing the UN, not Sesame Street. And unbelievably, he wasn't finished.
He was also unnecessarily rude to Miss Piggy, I thought.
The world's burning, and he's like, why can't Kermit be a more considerate lover? Also, how can Boris call Kermit rude? He's called Muslim women letterboxes. He called Africans pickaninnies. All Kermit did was refuse to shag a pig. Right? Which is more than this guy did. It wasn't just Muppets. Listen to this.
We produce so much offshore wind that I'm thinking of changing my name in honour of the god of the North Wind to Boreas Johnson.
To be honest, people have already given you a nickname. It was nuts. At one point, he even started speaking ancient Greek.
Man politad dana kuden anthropu de noteron pele.
Now, in case you're not fluent in ancient Greek, here's what he means.
Man politad dana kuden anthropu de noteron pele.
What's depressing, we need strong leaders. The world is on a knife edge. I mean, have you seen what's happening in North Korea?
Now, North Korea claims to have carried out successful testing of a new long-range cruise missile, which is capable of reaching much of Japan. In the tests, North Korea's state media said the missiles flew some 1,500 kilometres over the course of 2 hours.
It's terrifying. So what was Fox News obsessed with?
He's fit, he's fun, and he's fascist. Take a look at Kim Jong-un flaunting his new tan and slim physique this week at the North Korean military parade. After this photo op, many may start calling him Slim Jong-un.
He's launched a cruise missile, and they're like, oh my God, he looks incredible. What's his secret? And it wasn't just Fox, it was on all the channels.
You can see it not just in his face, but on his wrist, where his watch band seems to have been taken in another notch.
He's developing a nuke! Why are they asking questions like this?
You know, whether this is because he's on a new sort of liquid diet or whether it's because he's on the Stairmaster every day, we just don't know.
Was it the Stairmaster? Is it smoothies? We'll never know. Why are we talking about how sexy a tyrant is? Imagine if they'd done that in World War II.
Hitler has invaded Poland and Europe is plunged into battle. But in fairness, he's got lovely eyes. Right, Margaret?
Right, Roger. He's a dilf. A dictator I'd like to fuck.
Thanks, Margaret.
Seriously, he can invade my trench any day he likes.
Which means a vagina, right?
Yes.
Join me after the break when I'll be chatting to the brilliant actor and activist, David Harewood.
So I kind of made my way over to this calendar and slotted out this Wednesday card, put the Thursday card in, and I saw all the nurses going, oh, look, he's been very clever, you know. And I was so chuffed with myself, so chuffed. I felt like I'd solved the Rubik's Cube in my arsehole. I just felt so chuffed about it.
Welcome back to the show. Now, my first guest tonight is an actor who has become one of our most influential voices on race and mental health. David Harewood is an actor, presenter, and one of the most prevalent voices regarding mental health in the UK. Rising to Hollywood fame with his role in Blood Diamond, he then became a constant on our screens in the Emmy Award-winning drama Homeland and The Night Manager. Since then, he's opened up about his mental health struggles and has just released a new book, Maybe I Don't Belong Here. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome David Harewood! What a fantastic...
Fantastic. Oh, nice, nice.
Terrific.
Are these
way.
real papers?
They are, man. Yeah. That was a wonderful way of entering. I enjoyed that. Proper.
It's nice to see a live audience again. This is the most amount of people I've seen since I got back to Britain. So,
where have you been?
I've been working and living in Canada for the last 6 years.
Ooh.
Vancouver. Anyone know Vancouver?
I know Vancouver
Beautiful,
very well.
beautiful place.
Did you ever get a Whistler?
I did. I mean, snowboard. I learned to snowboard at 55 years old. I learned to snowboard.
Wow.
And
Two things. Wow, you're 55. And
can I read this? No.
Yeah. And were you a natural? Did you get on well?
I did. I have an electric skateboard.
Of course.
So, of course.
Yeah. Most 55-year-olds.
I'm a bit of a racer. I love speed. I love danger. So I got one of these electric skateboards, and basically the technique is the same: heel toe, heel toe.
Yeah.
And I went up top of the mountain. And I picked the whole thing up in about 15 minutes. I was flying down the mountain.
Amazing.
Within about 20 minutes. I didn't always stand up.
Yeah.
But
you made it down the bottom.
I made it to the bottom. Yeah.
Now, we should get into your book, which is fascinating. It's called Maybe I Don't Belong Here. For people who haven't read it, can you explain the book?
When I was 23 years old, when I came out of drama school, I had a psychotic breakdown. And a couple of years ago, I did a documentary called Psychosis in Me. I don't know if anybody saw it. But it was a documentary where I sort of try and find out kind of what happened. And I sort of went into it thinking, rather foolishly, thinking it was going to be a laugh. Because part of the things that happen, psychosis is a very strange mental health condition. The sort of nightmare parts of it are kind of preceded by real highs. And I did lots of very silly things and lots of very funny things and lots of crazy things, walking around London, singing to complete strangers, carrying old ladies' shopping bags. I mean, literally just walking the streets at 3 o'clock in the morning, talking to complete strangers.
And in that moment, are you aware that you're behaving in, for you, an unusual way?
I knew it was sort of unusual, but it was so powerful.
Right.
That I thought, if I can control this,
right,
I'm onto something here.
Yeah.
But I did, one of the attributes of psychosis that you do have hallucinations and delusions. And I think I got so wrapped up in my delusions and hallucinations that I just lost control, and it was a very scary place to be.
What is that like, going from being 23, feeling full of energy, having these kind of amazing moments, to that moment when you find yourself in a psychiatric ward? Is that... Well, that must be terrifying.
It was. There was parts of it that was in and out of lucidity.
Right.
And when it finally went nightmarishly wrong for me was... And I don't really remember this, but again, like I said, a couple of years ago, I did that documentary where I sort of investigated this, and I sort of found out that the morning I was sectioned, I was rushed by 6 policemen who sat on me for 2 hours while I was injected with enough tranquilizers to knock out a horse. And the documentary showed me how ill I was. And I was given an envelope which contained all the things I said and all the things I did when I was sectioned. And there was a part of the part of the documentary where I was supposed to open this envelope and read some of the stuff, and it was so scary. When I opened the envelope, it was so scary. I just shut the envelope and thought...
You couldn't do it?
I said, cut, I can't do this.
Wow.
And I didn't open that envelope for 2 years, but when I started writing the book, I thought, I have to open this envelope.
Where were you when you did that?
I went back to Vancouver after the first lockdown and entered quarantine, and the first thing I did...
Wow.
On my own,
wow.
First thing I did was take the envelope off the shelf, and I read it cover to cover, everything. And so much of it was about race and identity, and I just realised just how confused I was.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of sparked me to write this book, which is kind of detailing kind of growing up in Britain and some of the racism I experienced as a child.
Well, some of the story in particular that you told when you were 7, and the guy just came up to you from nowhere, you were just kind of playing in the street.
Yeah.
That just, it's such a... See, it must be very painful to tell a story like that, but it's also, it's unfortunately illuminating for people that didn't have that experience.
That's sort of why the book is called Maybe I Don't Belong Here, because I say when I was... You know, I used to watch those shows with my dad, you know, It Ain't Half Hot Mum and Benny Hill, and, you know, kind of growing up thinking, I'm British.
Yeah.
I'm English. And I was playing outside the house one day, and this elderly white gentleman kind of walked up to me and sort of leaned into my face and said, "Get the fuck out of my country, you little black bastard." And I just remember being so shocked by it. And I was 7.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand what he meant. What do you mean, get out of the country? I belong here. And that's when I suddenly thought to myself, well, maybe I don't belong here. And that was the sort of schism in my identity about trying to be, you know, being black, but being British. That's the sort of schism that I think led to my breakdown, because, you know, you kind of have these moments in your life where you, as I say, they're kind of definitive moments. I think that was the one moment that really sort of split me in two.
And how do you go from that place, like you say, of lucidity, being in and out, of not quite knowing where you are in a psychiatric ward? How do you get better?
I can remember waking up in a mental institution. I couldn't move my hands. I couldn't, talking, like, I was so slow. I was trying to get my head together.
Yeah.
And it was the most disorientating experience I've ever had. But I sort of had my faculties.
Yeah.
So, you know, I remember sort of thinking, my brother came to visit me, and I was clearly not well.
Yeah.
And I remember the theme in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, when they do. I was talking to my brother like this.
Yeah.
And he was like, he was horrified.
Yeah.
And he just said, "Dave, if you want to get out of here, you've got to start acting normal." But I thought, I'm an actor. I can do that. I can act normal. So I just decided to myself, I'm going to start acting as normal as possible. So I sort of, every morning I'd get up and sort of try and brush my teeth and try and tidy my space and tidy my bed and try and talk to the nurses. I just really tried to just keep all the impulses to ask, why are you giving me this medicine? What's in this medicine? Why am I taking it? Because you do sort of act out when you're on these drugs. And I just decided to just try and bottle everything up, keep it all controlled, and just be as normal as possible.
So you acted your way out?
I acted my way out, yeah.
Holy shit.
Because I knew I had... I thought, this is the only way... But... Like, this is the only way I'm going to get off this ward.
But this is insane. So let's say I'm a terrible actor. So if I'm in a psychiatric ward and I've got to act my way out, I'm staying inside. The book is darkly funny.
Yeah.
Because you know, you're surrounded by such unique characters. Like the guy that was licking you. Like, that was...
I woke up one morning and you just fall asleep, because after you're so sedated.
Yeah.
As I say, I was so sedated, and I just kind of fall asleep, and I fell asleep one afternoon and I just felt something in my ear. And I kind of opened my eyes and this guy was licking my ear. I just kind of freaked out and I was so sort of out of it. I couldn't say, "Unhand me!" Yeah, I couldn't say anything. It was just like, you know, making grunts at this guy.
Yeah. But and I love in particular, that this is presumably part of the acting normal, that the story with the calendar felt like a kind of a real moment when you saw a goal that you could sort of fix.
I saw this calendar on the wall, and something about this calendar looked wrong. And I'm staring at it. And it said Wednesday. But I knew that when they come around and give you your pills, they say, oh, you know, here's your Wednesday pill, here's your Thursday pill. And I knew, the night before, she'd given me my Wednesday pill. So I thought, the calendar's saying Wednesday. She'd given me my pill on Wednesday. Today must be Thursday. So I sort of made my way towards this calendar thinking, I've got to change this date to prove that I'm sort of normal. So I kind of made my way over to this calendar and slotted out this Wednesday card, put the Thursday card in, and I saw the nurses going, oh, look, he's been very clever, you know. And I was so chuffed with myself, so chuffed. I felt like I'd solved the Rubik's Cube in my arsehole. I just felt so chuffed about it. Honestly, I was like, yes, get in. It was like I'd scored the winning goal in the World Cup final.
Yeah.
And actually, 2 days later, they let me out. And one of the things that I've been amazed at is just how common it is. There's a huge stigma attached to psychosis.
Why is that?
Because it's the big, scary one. It's the one they take you away.
Right.
You know, people talk about depression, they talk about anxiety, they talk about bipolar. Nobody talks about, apart from me, nobody talks about psychosis because it is the one where you lose your mind.
Yeah.
And I've been very fortunate to sort of find mine again.
Yeah.
Come through that experience and go on to build a successful career. So the more I can go out there and tell people, look, you know, you might have had psychosis, but it's not the end of the story. You can still go on to live a fulfilling life.
Yeah.
The more we get that message out there that it's recoverable, you know?
Absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love that interview. There's one thing I have to ask.
Go on.
This is a complete change
Segue.
of tact. I didn't know you're from Birmingham. I don't hear the accent.
I've hidden my accent pretty well, actually.
There you go.
You know, I talk like that, but you're from Birmingham.
No, I'm from Bristol. And so I've done a similar thing. Because otherwise, like, if I was asking these questions, tell me about mental health. You're from Small Heath.
I am.
Which is where the Peaky Blinders
show
is based on.
Yeah.
But that has made the Birmingham accent sexy. For years, much maligned. We want to be together.
We want to be together. Yes. No, I love it. I hadn't seen the show. It's one of those lockdown joys. I started to watch Peaky Blinders. Peaky fucking Blinders.
Yeah.
And just hearing that accent, for me, is just a joy. And I actually started to talk in my old. I'm doing it now.
Yeah.
Started to talk in my old vernacular, and it's comforting. Very comforting.
But it's like I find it's one of those accents that just has real, like.
A lot of people hate it.
But I tell you, don't hate it. American women. Because
really?
Yeah, I was on my stag do 3 years ago now in Vegas, and there was some guys from Selly Oak. Right?
Oh right.
Yeah, exactly. like just normal accents like that, and oh my god, your accent's amazing. Where you from? Like that. And we were so envious because all my cousins were like, where the fuck's our show about? But it's just that funny thing of like, there's never going to. What, you Peaky Blinders? It doesn't have that energy.
Maybe I need to switch back to my old accent. Then.
Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
I really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful David Harewood! Now it's time for Playground Politics. This week, I asked the kids about the news.
What if fake news is real and real news is fake? Oh! Dun, dun, dun!
Do you think we should believe everything that we see in the news?
I don't think we should, because some of it can be fake news, some of it can just be by a fake website.
Do you know any examples of the fake news and fake websites?
The singer man on The Chase died.
Did he?
That's fake.
Thank God for that. Do you know what fake news is?
Like UFOs spotted in the Netherlands, and then it's just like a picture of a fake UFO just hanging down on a string.
I love the fact they're spotted in the Netherlands.
One question. You're a comedian, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you do puns?
I've been known to do an occasional pun.
I don't really like puns.
I'll stop that.
No, it's all right for you to do puns.
It doesn't sound like it's all right. It sounds like you want straight-up observational stuff.
It especially annoys me when there's the...
Ba-dum-bum, shh.
Dun-dun-dun. That's enough of that
Yeah,
now.
it is, yeah. So who do you trust to tell the news?
Piers Morgan, yes.
Piers Morgan?
He told
We're a big fan of him.
Are you?
My bedroom wallpaper be him.
When did you discover that Morgan was your guy?
When I watch Good Morning Britain.
Yeah.
Good morning, Britain.
Who would you not trust to tell the news?
The Queen.
You wouldn't trust the Queen?
Because she might get it wrong.
True. What?
Because I'm not being rude, but because of her age, like, you know, she is physically quite old.
True. Can you imagine the size of the auto cue?
I mean, on the corona thing, she was supposed to be saying, like, a speech, and it turned out a 4-minute speech about her and her sister.
So was she just rambling about her sister?
Her and her sister when they were kids, but it was supposed to be a speech about how she thinks of corona, but she was just rabbiting on about her and her sister.
I did goat yoga when I was just 1 year old.
So where were you doing this this goat yoga, where you, as a baby, with no feelings, no ability to move?
I can't even remember.
Yeah, do you know why you
now.
can't remember? Because it's lies. Because it's fake news.
I was making up a fake news
Yeah,
report.
what else? What were you doing when you were 2? Lifting up cheetahs?
Yeah. So what's the next question gonna be now?
Okay.
Because we've been talking about the same subjects for way too long
I
now.
apologise. You're right. I shouldn't have been talking about goats for so long.
Yeah,
It was
yes.
bad.
Stop it. No, stop it. Just stop. That's enough. No.
Welcome back. Our final guest tonight is a fantastic comedian and actress. Lucy Beaumont is an actress, writer and stand-up comedian. After being nominated for Best Newcomer at the Edinburgh Fringe in 2014, she met her now husband, John Richardson, spawning the hit mockumentary Meet the Richardsons.
My daughter is not going to it because that teacher is a slut.
This year, she's had a new comedy series commissioned called Hole Raisers and is releasing her first book, Drinking Custard. Please welcome the wonderful Lucy Beaumont! Hello.
Oh, these really are newspapers.
They are, yeah. They're kind of comfy, aren't they?
They are comfy.
Take it, it's yours.
And this helps with travel sickness as well, you know. I used to do this when I was a kid.
What, going on telly?
Oh, no. No, I don't know whether it's just psychosomatic. Sitting on a newspaper.
Sitting on a newspaper helps with travel sickness.
I mean, now I've said it, I wonder if they'd lied to me.
Yeah. Well, who told you this? Let's get to the bottom of this clear bullshit. Who told you?
My granddad told me.
Yeah, it sounds like a lovely granddad thing.
When we was going in the car, he used to put a newspaper and then...
Clearly, he put the newspaper down because he was worried you were gonna... You were gonna wet yourself.
Yeah.
Because he's clearly a lovely man, he didn't want make you feel self-conscious and go, I'm gonna piss, I'm gonna piss.
You're right.
But now, wouldn't it be lovely now if you just pissed yourself?
Shall I come back out again?
No. It's absolutely lovely. But this is what I like about you. Every conversation I have with you tends to drift off in a strange way.
I know.
But I think in a good way.
Do you?
Yeah, totally.
I think I listened to a lot of Hard House in the 90s.
Well, it's just reconfigured you. But that's what's so fascinating about the fact that you and John Richardson are married, is that you seem like... I can't imagine John was listening to a lot of Hard House as a younger man.
He didn't.
And yet, yeah, but...
He likes the Eagles.
He does. But what's it like, because you've got a baby together, what was it like having and looking after the baby during lockdown?
I think he found our child fine. It was me that was...
Oh, really?
He's been doing this documentary about not wasting food, and my mum came and stayed with us, and he was telling her, you know, how important it is, you know, to recycle, not, as we know. And then the doorbell went, and my mum answered it to Lucy, and my online supermarket order had arrived. And I think what I'd done, I meant to just put 1 in the box, you know, for lettuces, and I put 11. And 11 lettuces turned up. And my mum said, don't worry, I'll hide them. And she hid them in the washing machine. Because she couldn't go, because John was in the kitchen. And then, of course, he went to put a wash on. And then, obviously, he was annoyed. And we all had 3 lettuces each for tea that night. And then I forgot to change the order and it came again the next week.
You managed to write a book during lockdown, which is kind of amazing, given that you were living with John and you've got a baby. It's kind of incredible. And it's called Drinking Custard.
Yeah.
So what is the book about?
I mean, it's my journey through parenting, through the roller coaster that comes with being a mother, from literally the first ever time I thought I'd like a child up to her going to school. And it's a lot of it is real diary entries that I kept. So a lot of anecdotes and there's some quite, you know, sad bits and funny bits. And it was a good chance for me because I'm like a walking sitcom. So there's so many things that you maybe think, I can't believe that really happened to her, but they did.
Why is the book called Drinking Custard?
Well, because I drank a lot of custard.
But is that a normal thing for mums?
No.
So was that your craving?
Yeah. Water just was too thin.
Yeah. That should be the advert. Do you know what I mean? That should be the custard advert. Water's too thin. Custard. But what are we dealing with? Are we dealing with, like, sort of bird's eye custard, or are we going ambrosia? Are you going flash?
Yeah, no. Well, because I was drinking it a lot every day, I ended up with the packets. But I started off with the tins. But I just...
So, whoa. So you were just having it like a cup of tea?
Yeah, it just was the only thing that quest my French.
Wow. Please tell me your child came out just like SpongeBob, just...
Well, when my milk came through, it was quite yellow, and
right.
I thought that...
And presumably your urge then is just run out. Sorry, John, sorry, Lucy, sorry, everybody.
No. But I did used to put a bit in John's bath.
Did you?
Is that weird?
It's not weird, it's a lovely image. Because I'm hearing the scream.
It's a looking out!
You know what I mean? What is the most kind of challenging thing you've found about being a mum?
Oh, I mean, do you really want to go there?
Yeah.
I mean, 5 is hard because they're really, really cute and funny, but they've learned the art of manipulation.
Right.
The other night, I took her into bed. I said, oh, I just need to sit the night like that. I went to turn the light off, and she said, Mummy, can you just come here a minute? And I went back, and she just grabbed my face like that and whispered in my ear, I hate you and your cooking.
Wow. But presumably that's funny. And does she know she's being funny?
I think she was serious.
How do you have, like, different ways of getting her to bed? I imagine you do.
It takes me from 6 till 8 o'clock. I start at 6 o'clock and she collapses at 8.
But what we do, stories?
I have to do a lot of songs.
What kind of songs?
She asked for Beauty and the Beast the other night. I couldn't remember anything. She gets upset if you can't sing it. So I sang Krista Begg, Lady in Red. But I was never seen so many men ask you if you wanted to dance. So before like that. And she said, are you sure this is for Beauty? I was like, yes, shh.
There's one bit in the book I love particularly, is when you and the new mums have your kind of first big night out.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic.
I've made friends with, mum friends that a lot of you'll know they're not really your real friends. You don't have anything in common other than your mums, and you're tired and unhappy. And I went to a nightclub. We all went in Manchester. First time I've been in a nightclub literally since I was 20.
Yeah.
It's awful how old you feel, because the average age is 18, and no one's looks at you or wants to flirt. They look through you. All the kids. And we was dancing as mums. We put our handbags, in the middle, and dancing around our handbags. And there was this young lad. It was one of them, where they don't wear socks and they wear those boater shoes, and he had real tight trousers on. You could see his bulge and everything. And minute, do you know what he's doing? He was flirting with all these girls, shimmying over to us, farting, and then going back to them. And he did it 3 times. And honestly, I could have killed... I was so angry. And I marched over and went to him. You need a poo. Go to the toilet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fantastic Lucy Beaumont! Finally tonight, it's good deeds and a man who's achieving great things through doing something very badly.
I'm Phil, a.k.a. Hercule Van Wolfwinkle. I've raised over £100,000 for my local homelessness charity by drawing rubbish portraits of people's pets. I've never been an artist. I didn't even own a set of pencils. I was trying to convince my son to make some thank you cards. He wasn't having any of it, so just to get him interested, I drew a picture of our dog Nala. We both thought it was rubbish. So I put it on Facebook with this jokey comment about pet portraits being for sale, and they were 299 quid. By the end of the first day, I'd drawn 7 portraits for people, and the requests for portraits started to sort of trickle in and then flood in. A mate wanted to pay me some money for the picture I'd drawn of his dog, and I said, look, I can't take any money. The compromise was give some money to our local homelessness charity, Turning Tides, and he did. So I set up the Just Giving page and said, look, I'm still going to keep the portraits free, but if I do your portrait, maybe if you want to make a donation, here's a Just Giving link. Homelessness is right at the heart of all of our communities, and I think if, as communities, we can't look at men and women in that position and want to help, well, what does it say about where we go?
St Clair's is a multi-agency hub, and this is a place where our clients can come. We serve meals, we have showers, but the crucial thing is we have a range of staff with a big range of skills to work out a plan for homeless people. When Phil raised £100,000, that's a magic amount for us, and unprecedented.
I've drawn over 800 pictures. Getting a portrait done is a complete lottery, because we think we've got over 20,000 requests for portraits. I've just got another request in.
Hello, Hercule. Very impressed with your work. So is my friend Jürgen. Very good! I'd love you to paint my dog if that's possible. Here he is.
Paint me, Hercule. Paint me like one of your French girls.
There you go, Russell, and you're welcome. I want to be sitting here in a year's time talking about the next 100 grand. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
What an absolute boost. Thanks very much for watching the show. Good night, my friends. Good night.